Hello Forkies, this is day 107 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. We have another game? No. So we have the first game of today's day, excuse me. Today's day. So let's just play e4 here. We have the white pieces, c5 and c3 the Aliapin Sicilian. d5 is the main line, so simply e takes, queen takes and d4 is the best way to play this. Knight c6 not the most popular way. Knight f3 now, knight f6 or e6 has to be played. Or bishop g4 as well, I guess. Bishop g4 and bishop e2 here. I don't quite remember these ideas because you are supposed to play knight f6 in this, not knight c6. So let's say h3, bishop h5, and castles and e6 will be played, yeah? And then we have the main line, I think. e6 has to be played, I think. There is also c takes, and then e6. But this is kind of weird move order to play this. But okay, doesn't quite matter. I mean, e6 is the main move here, I think. And I have few ideas in the Aliapin Sicilian. I mean, e6 I play bishop e3 takes, knight c3, and then so you take, I take with the c pawn and then play knight c3, and this is still the main line. Queen d6, by the way. I think has to be played. Queen d6, yes, queen d6 best move. Queen b3 and queen b4. And then I think we can go with d5 here, sacking a pawn. I think it's supposed to work, but also I think bishop e3 is included somewhere. I don't know where exactly, to be completely honest with you guys. So queen d7 is weird. Queen d7 is weird. I think bishop e3 here can be played. Also there is queen b3, which I know is an idea, but just now that b7 is now that b7 is defended, I think bishop e3 just completing our development. Rook is c1 and g4 knight e4 might be an idea as well. Bishop e7. So now we have to think of our own. There is here bishop e2. Knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes, f6, bishop takes, and rook takes back. What about this endgame? I guess I can play d5 there, so I think I'm much more fine than I am now, because knight takes e5, knight takes e5, simply bishop takes. Has to be fine for me. Bishop e2, knight takes d7 is just my idea. And the bishop is also under attack, the queen is under attack, the bishop is under attack, and there are, I think, only two options here. Either you take the knight here on e5, or you take my bishop standing on e2 here. I'm not sure what is the best move. Let our opponent make the decision for us, but it doesn't quite matter for me. I will just play on like my opponent will do for me. So knight takes here, just bishop takes on h5, knight takes and queen takes. I think that position is pretty much okay for me. Knight c4 might be a problem there. But simply b3, knight takes and f takes, and I have the checkmate threat there. I mean, the threat to take on f7, it wouldn't be made because king can go there. But my opponent's spending quite some time, so this might be a problem as well for him, the time. Excuse me, but I just muted myself because I needed to cough. Nothing wrong with it. 95. My opponent spending a lot of time here, which is quite good for me. And because if my opponent will get low on time, then I can have the time to think, and my opponent will also might lose on time. So if I push him, I mean, down to 7 minutes for 20, I mean, spending 3 minutes for the first few moves in the opening. Bishop takes on e2, I think I can just do this. Knight f6, of course. And rook takes d1. Now castles long is probably the best move. But I still play d5 there. Rook d8? d5 bishop takes might not be the best. There is also knight to e4 here. But then my pawn is hanging. So I think knight e2 might be the best move. Knight b5 allows a6 to happen, which is quite bad, I think. d5, bishop takes, b takes, and rook takes here. How do I feel about that position? Rook takes, e takes, and rook d1. It's probably equal. Yes, you cannot defend the pawn here. So let's go for d5. Because I think I was slightly worse, but now with d5 I'm perfectly fine. Bishop takes, b takes, of course, can be pre-moved because my opponent has pretty. I mean, he's not low on time. Having 7 minutes is good enough, but this endgame will be complicated, and it will be because there is an imbalance. I have a bishop, and he has a knight standing on c6. Of course, in the event of taking and taking back with the b pawn. I mean, the bishop is usually the better if the board is more open than closed, and I think this is the perfect example of it. The bishop has the eye on a7. I mean, even on this side of the board, so maybe I can get something out of it. Probably not. It's probably just a draw. I mean, if pawn takes, I didn't really consider that. If I'm completely honest, I know that it loses the b2 pawn, but at least I have rook b2, rook b1, rook b7. Pawn takes, simply knight takes, pawn, bishop takes b2, and rook a1. I hit the ghost for it, which is quite interesting. Knight takes, of course, has to be played, I think. Bishop b2, rook b1. My rook gets very active, and a7 is weak there because of my great bishop on e3. Actually, my bishop on e3 might be very good piece the whole game here. I mean, I wouldn't call it a threat to take on f6, but it might be a threat very well. So bishop takes b2 has to be played, I think. But that doesn't mean that I have any problems whatsoever in my position. Wow. He doesn't even take on b2. Okay. I get it. There is bishop f4 here. There is knight c3 back. Bishop f4 I don't like. I like knight c3 here. But then simply castles. Is it really the max I can get out of it? Bishop c5, by the way. Disallowing the king from getting castled might look better. And then knight e3 maybe. Bishop c5, bishop b2, rook b1. Still, I mean, I'm allowing this pawn to be captured. Here b6, by the way. Also I move, but I get the bishop to a3, but that's very bad. No, here b6, I don't like that. I think I have to go for like knight c3, I guess. And maybe knight b5. Now just castles, and I think it's a draw. Maybe rook b1, maybe. a4, a5. I mean, I want to play knight b5, so. Knight b5 loses this pawn once again. So rook b1, for example, is a nice idea. I have to. Knight b4, simply a3. And yes, I think, I mean, rook takes d1. Yes, a6. Now my knight gets maybe there. Yes, b3, great move. No, seriously, but I think a3 here might be the best move for me as well. Also, knight a4, knight c5. Oh, knight a4, knight c5 might be a good idea. b5. But this loses a pawn, yeah? Oh, but a6 is also falling off. I mean, now knight defends b2, but knight c5 would put a lot of pressure to the pawns here, which is quite good for me, I think. I'm also slightly up on the clock. Rook d1 can be pre-moved, because if rook takes d1, rook takes d1, has to be played, otherwise I lose a lot of material in the game with it. Um, so that is rook d1, rook d1, and rook d8 there. I have to trade, I guess, and maybe play for b3 there. And knight c5, that would be massive, massive threat, winning probably the game. Um, maybe not, maybe not. Um, Also the king couldn't step on f8 due to this fork. I don't know if you can imagine that, visualize it, because I mean rook d1, and rook d8 looks logical, but b7 and a6 are very weak, because when you push a6, then b7 becomes an extraordinary big weakness. I mean, if you push it forward, then a6 is a very big weakness once again. So bishop to c7 is played. I don't know how you will defend these weaknesses, excuse me. You can play rook b8, of course, because this. If you play here, I can take it. Pretty much have to play knight c5. A knight a5 before. Just I think wins the pawn here, and we did the game perhaps. Maybe not. I mean, rook b8, knight d7 is a winning fork idea, picking up either of the rooks, and we did the game, of course. So yes, there, and I also have 5 minutes. My opponent has only like 3 minutes and a half. And now not easy choice. How will you defend, even if I think you cannot really defend the pawn? Because I mean there is an idea to trap the knight, but the bishop is attacked, and then I pick up here as well, and my knight gets back. So this shouldn't work at all. I mean b6, I just take on a6 and have a completely winning position. Also before b5 there might be an idea. I mean, only being one pawn up in such an endgame might not be a decisive advantage. Oh, there is one way to defend. Actually, I figured it out. Rook d1, and rook c8. But this is very much bad, because I play rook d7 then, and you lose something on the 7th rank probably. I mean, definitely you lose something. I'm not sure what exactly you lose. Yeah, 2 minutes and a half for my opponent. Plays a panic move, knight to b4. Not sure what it does actually. I mean, it attacks a2, but after a3, what's your idea? That is also just here, maybe. But I like a3, knight c2, knight b7, knight c3, f3. This also comes with a tempo, so. I mean, a3, where will you go? Knight d3, I take it. Knight to d5. I go here, and your rook is under attack. And you have to defend your bishop still. You have to go to d7 there, which looks very bad. I go back. Pick up a6 as well. That is the winning idea, I guess. That is the winning idea, I guess. Knight c6, knight b7. Just knight e2 played. Wow. He thinks that there is something there. I don't think that's true. Knight e3, I can even take here, perhaps. No, I can't. What's my problem? Come on, think. Knight e3 takes here, and I lose. There is here, by the way. Rook takes, and I take like this, and I win. And if bishop takes, then I just take with the f pawn. And I can just do that right away, yeah? And force him to move the rook away. Play knight c5 next. I mean, rook b8 probably, but knight c5 and knight d7 is still a threat, and a6 is also hanging there. And you cannot play rook b6 there, because knight d7 is still a fork, so. I mean, with 90 seconds remaining for my opponent, I feel very much that I can handle the situation. I mean, even flagging is an option there, because now he came to his mind that he will lose everything. I mean, I know that the e3 hangs, but king h1 just, you're still losing an exchange here for absolutely nothing. You won a pawn, but I also won a pawn, so now I'm only up on exchange with a completely winning position. So there it goes. With 1 minute to go, it's resignable, definitely. Oh, which rook to take? Probably this one, although this one as well. I think this one and b4 might be the best move. Takes and takes with the rook, and if takes, it's mate. And now it should be just completely over. We can play pretty much anything. There is like g4, there is anything, because a3 is not hanging due to mate. So we can play rook d7 here, which I feel like is the best move. Then go here and just bulldoze everything. Rook d7 is the best move, I think. And I mean, you cannot really stop rook b7 next move, even if a3 hangs. I mean, I'm getting everything, so that's probably too much to handle. And there are some mates as well, so yeah, h5. I can even just go safe with this move. Although this move, I will lose on time. I will win on time, excuse me. So I don't really care. And now this should be technically winning position. If you take with the bishop, I take here. If you take with the rook, I give check and then take here. Being up a rook is always nice. I cannot quite pin you, so I will just go here. 20 seconds left. I trade off. And now it's game over, yeah? Maybe not yet. Here I need to be careful. Yes, he finds that, but I can just safely go to d1, to f1 maybe. Just be solid. I will win on time. Thank you for the follow, whoever followed me on Twitch. Thank you. Thank you. YouTube, I'm also putting this on Twitch, so you know. Therefore, you could follow me there as well. King g1, just bring, now check, maybe go here. You will lose this on time, excuse me. There it goes, the rook as well. I will take the bishop, and my opponent resigns here. So let's see the game review of the first game of the day. So this is the game review of the game I just played. I played with 83% accuracy, my opponent played with 79, and he lost on time against me. So of course I opened the game with pawn to e4, my opponent played c5, the Sicilian defense, and c3 was played, the Aliap in Sicilian. Now d5 is the main move if I'm not mistaken, e d5, queen d5, and simply pawn to d4. Now knight c6 was played, which is not the most popular move. The most popular move is to develop the king's knight to f6. And then after knight f3, bishop g4, bishop e2, e6 is played. After h3, bishop h5, castles, and knight c6. And you can see that this reminds me of a position we had in the game, which is, right, this one after e6. And then I played the move knight c3. He just slightly messed up the move forward, but doesn't matter quite that much. Queen d7 was played. I played bishop e3, which was fine. Bishop e7 is already a mistake because of g4. I didn't play g4, but what if I would have? And then knight e5 takes. So what? Queen d1, rook knight e7. Oh, I guess, and bishop. Oh, this tactic comes up. Yes, this is nice. I played knight e5. He took on e1, which was the only move. Knight takes here, and going for endgame might not be the best. Because I have the IQP, but I thought I can just push it, and that's true. ED is the only move. If you take on c3, as I mentioned... Oh, there is just d takes. There is just d takes on c6, yeah. That's also true. I thought it simply takes. And this is just bad because I can just do anything. Um, like anything. I mean, the position is equal, so e takes on is the only move. Knight takes, bishop to e5, and knight c3 back. Now castles, rook b1, nothing special, knight a4, and here I started to bring up the power of the horse here on c5. He played the move knight before, which, I mean, after a3, I just pick up a pawn, on knight e3, f e3, and my pawn also had 0 time, so after knight c5, he blundered a4, and it's just pretty much GG. What has happened? Was I accurate enough? I wasn't. I should have played rook d to b1. Just trading the rooks here after f5, and this is winning, of course. So maybe I should have done it. I played rook d7, which is not a bad move. Now it's suddenly only +1, but I thought this is completely winning. Why is this a blunder? Oh, just wait. Oh, rook f takes, of course. I was worried that if this, then oh, this is checkmate because my king has no escape. So I mean, with 15 seconds on the clock, of course, it's just completely winning for me. So let's go to the second game of the day. We have another game. We have the black pieces this time. Let's see what will my opponent do. He plays e4. I played, of course, the Caro-Kann defense here. With c6, knight f3, and d5. And the two knights attack, I played that yesterday. And h3 is the best move. After bishop f3, queen f3, and e6, just reinforcing the light square bishop by putting all your pawns on light squares. That's the idea behind this opening. d3, knight d7, I've played a lot of games here. Bishop e2, not the best way to play, I think. I can take here and then play knight f6. That's the idea. If ed, I still play knight f6, but I mean, is if de, but now knight f6 is even better. And bishop e7. And this is very playable. Nothing wrong with it, and simply castles. Also, this was possible. And then play knight f6 as well. It's quite drawish from white. I mean, there are better ways to face the Caro-Kann defense. But this is just one of them. And of course, a draw with black pieces is always fine. So knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes, queen takes. If takes with the queen, knight f6 is just perfectly fine. I think that's just the way to go. And if pawn takes, then simply knight f6, just get the rooks to the center. Knight f6, my move anyway. I think just going for the pawn if queen moves, for example. Also queen c. Oh, what is this? This is bad move. This is a really bad move, by the way. e5. I get the knight to d5 now. If c4 knight b6, I think my position is perfectly fine. Okay, so you're going for the kill here, but I don't think there is a such thing as kill here. I can always play g6 to be solid. Rook d8, I think. The best move. Maybe knight b4 as well. Just to eliminate this bishop from its existence. Then bishop e4, I guess. But this bishop is just way worse than my knight is on d5 currently. And if c4, then the knight gets to b4 even. So let's calculate here. You probably play bishop e4, right? My knight is weird here. I agree with you. But it can get to c5. I could also just play here, be solid, which I think I will do. But knight b4 also looks fine. And just double up. Yes, I like knight b4 actually. Why not? I mean, there is no attack anywhere because of just g6, and my queen covers the diagonal here. h4, h5, I can just do anything. Now c4 is also weakness. Knight, I mean, this is just hanging, so we have to defend it. Rook d1 here, very bad. Why would you do that? Why would you trade this into a worse endgame for you? I mean, this pawn on e5 and this pawn on c4 are, I think, overextended, and that's the beauty of the Caro-Kann. You are never overextended. So yes, bishop e4 is played. Rook here, I think it's the best move. a3 though, a3 might be a problem, but simply knight gets to Yes, it's not that simple, right? Here might be a move to pressure everything. A3 and simply go here. And then there is no time to play b4. So I think here queen c3, the knight is of course defended, so queen just rook d8. Bishop h7, there is nothing like that. King h7, there is no fork at all. So just rook d4. Pressure the pawn, pressure the bishop, pressure the d file as well. a3, just move the knight to a6 and just go here. There is no time for b4 because rook takes here. Now the knight gets here and maybe to b3, maybe to d3. And if that, I mean, even I get the knight to d3 and it has to trade itself for the bishop and then rook d3, and I think I'm much better there. So I'm positionally outplaying, I think, white. I see the chat on Twitch because I'm also streaming on Twitch, YouTube, so you just know. Kusai, hello, hello. How are you? I'm fine, great, thank you. So b4, for example, just loses the pawn, and b5 cannot be played then. I'm also getting the knight to d5 because there is no c4 to defend d5 anymore if I take it with the rook. Queen g4 looks like a very bad move, and I'm serious about it. Well, there are many mistakes with this move. Firstly, it allows me to trade everything, and that's always beneficial for me. Here, I guess I'm also playing quite quickly this game. Oh my god, did I really just hang this? Of course I did. Why not hang a rook if I can? I hung this idea. What? Oh, but I have knight b3. Oh, I have knight b3. This is so lucky. Oh, but I hung another piece. I just hung another piece. Let's resign here. I mean, very bad game. Let's game review the game and we will see what has happened. So my opponent played with 96% accuracy. I played very badly with 87. Let's see the game. e4, c6, of course. The Caro-Kann defense, nothing wrong with it. Knight f3, d5, and the two knights attack. Now bishop g4, h3, bishop takes, queen takes, and d6, of course. Now d3 is the best move, I think. Knight d7, bishop e2, and I simply took the pawn, which is not the best, but not the worst either. Knight takes and knight f6, bishop g5 here, and bishop e7 was played. Now castles for both sides, and the position is just equal here. Rook fe1, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, d takes, and knight f6 was played. Now, e5 was the best move indeed, but after knight d5, I thought my position is perfectly fine. Bishop d3 here, rook a to d8, and c4 was played. And now just allows knight to b4 to happen. Bishop e4, rook d4, and my opponent played the move a3, knight a6 was played, the only move, of course, and queen g4. Well, yes, this is very bad by black, because I will get the knight to c5, but just not right away. Well, why not? Why is this a huge blunder? Well, bishop takes on h7, wins the rook here. What was the best move was to play g6 here. And if, I mean, queen f3 just goes back, I can just take the pawn. I mean, very bad game. And then I played knight b3 here. I thought I get enough material back, but yes, queen d3 picks up yet another piece. So here I resigned. I played very badly this game. I should have spent more time after queen g4. I know that. I just thought my position was perfectly fine, and it was, but then I blundered the game away in one single move. So this is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really help me out, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.